Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a deeply universal experience, and let's be honest, a pretty annoying one: frustration. We're going to explore how we can actually take our daily annoyances and even our most profound, deep adversities and transform them into an incredible journey of personal growth. We'll be pulling from psychology and adolescent development research to map out exactly how to make that happen. We've all been there, right? You're stuck in a painfully slow line at the store, or maybe you're facing a major, totally unexpected life setback. And in those moments, it's just so easy to throw your hands up and ask that agonizing question, why is this happening to me? It really feels like the universe is actively working against us, just throwing roadblocks in our path to drive us crazy. But the root of that frustration, it's actually fascinating. Dr. Ramon Ford from the Cleveland Clinic points out that we live in what he calls a microwave generation. Thanks to technology, we've been culturally primed to expect instant gratification for everything. But the problem is, that expectation violently clashes with the actual human condition. Human life isn't a quick internet search. It isn't same-day delivery. It is inherently messy, it's slow-paced, and it demands a lot of patience. So when our high-speed expectations hit the brick wall of reality, our patience just completely drops to zero. And when we can't instantly fix our discomfort, well, things get interesting. We often turn to defense mechanisms. Psychologist Dr. Ingrid Clayton introduces a really compelling concept here called spiritual bypass. Basically, this happens when we use seemingly healthy spiritual practices, things like meditation, yoga, or repeating positive mantras, not to actually heal, but to shield ourselves from painful truths. We try to instantly jump to feeling good, just to avoid sitting with the uncomfortable reality of what's really going on. Dr. Clayton perfectly captures this when she says spiritual bypass is more about checking out and checking in. Because it's wrapped up in this nice package of self-care or spiritual growth, it's a subtle defense mechanism that looks a whole lot prettier than turning to drugs or alcohol. But make no mistake, it serves the exact same purpose. It's just an elaborate way to dodge the messy, unpleasant feelings like anxiety or shame that we mistakenly think we aren't supposed to be experiencing. But here is the hard truth. You literally cannot outrun your own brain. Clayton argues that to genuinely experience the bright side of our psychological development, we have to first take responsibility for the shadows. We actually have to face our anxiety, our shame, and our loneliness. By recognizing and sitting with that dark stuff without letting it define us, it doesn't swallow us whole like we're so terrified it will. Instead, it allows us to truly own and believe in the light. Okay, so if we can't bypass the discomfort, how do we tolerate it? How do we stop losing our cool when the world absolutely refuses to move at our speed? Well, the good news is patience isn't some magical trait you're just born with. It's a muscle you can train. Let's dive into 6 practical strategies from the Cleveland Clinic designed to help us build that patience muscle in our everyday lives. The key here is to start small. Step 1 is practicing mindfulness to get out of your own spiraling thoughts. The feeling you're running 5 minutes late and suddenly your brain tells you you're going to be fired and your life is ruined. Mindfulness pulls you back to reality. Step 2, know what's in your control. You cannot speed up a glacial DMV line. Getting angry is totally useless. You just have to accept it. And step 3 is purposefully building tolerance for discomfort. Let a car merge ahead of you in traffic or intentionally ignore a phone notification for 5 minutes. Really lean into those tiny delays. Now, strategy 4 asks us a pretty tough question. Think about your last conversation. Were you truly listening to the other person, or were you mentally checking out, formulating your next response, or maybe making a mental grocery list? Yeah, we all do it. Impatience so often manifests as a complete inability to stay present with the people standing right in front of us. So building on that, step 4 requires us to listen well by putting down the phone and actually staying engaged. Step 5 is finding the fun. If you're already running super late and your kid insists on wearing a tutu, cowboy boots, and a toy stethoscope, just laugh at the absurdity of it. Find the humor. And finally, step 6 is to empathize. Try to understand the situation from the other person's perspective. That person struggling at the self-checkout isn't trying to sabotage your day. They are probably just as frustrated as you are. Building patience through those steps is absolutely fantastic for your daily annoyances. But what happens when we face severe, life-altering adversity? For that, we're going to need something a lot deeper. A really fascinating study published in the Journal of Adolescence looked at over 1,000 young teens to figure out the relationship between having a life purpose and successfully coping with trauma. The researchers tracked these adolescents over time, and they discovered a remarkable correlation.
They found that students who possessed what they called beyond the self goals, meaning they were actively committed to helping the world or helping others, were much more likely to successfully use positive reframing to cope with their own adversity. They were literally able to view stressful events in a different, much more positive light.
But here is the truly surprising part of this research. A strong sense of purpose didn't always exist before the hardship. In fact, in many cases, the negative experience itself was the exact catalyst that triggered their desire to help others. These kids didn't just reframe their own pain, they appraised their role in easing the pain of other people, and that became their ultimate coping mechanism.
Let's look at a real-world example from the study. There was a student named Jayla, and she used her own highly painful experiences with being bullied in elementary school to spark her life's mission. She actually went out and created a dedicated Twitter support network for other teens facing bullying and mental health challenges. She found her own healing and coped with her trauma by taking direct action to positively impact others. Her adversity quite literally built her empathy.
And similarly, there's the story of a student named Justin. Justin's family was deeply affected by diabetes when his younger brother was diagnosed. So how did Justin cope? He threw himself entirely into medical engineering. He actually started practicing his skills by making a portable charger inside a little mint tin with the ultimate goal of eventually creating inexpensive prosthetics for the world. As he put it, if he could help his brother, he should try to help his world. This scientific link between helping others and healing ourselves, it perfectly mirrors a really powerful spiritual concept shared by the crystal conduit. It's all about a profound shift in mindset. Remember that agonizing question from the very beginning of this explainer? We have to move from the victim mindset of why is this happening to me to an empowered, reframed mindset of how is this preparing me? The essence of that shift is profound. It's the idea that the universe is not testing you, it is preparing you. Instead of viewing the long lines, the general messiness of the human condition, or even profound traumatic setbacks as harsh punishments, we can positively reframe them. These obstacles, they're detours leading us towards something better. They are essential preparation, building our resilience, refining our wisdom, and aligning us with our true path. So I want to leave you with this final thought. The next time you find yourself stuck in the uncomfortable, painfully slow waiting room of life, don't spiritually bypass it and definitely don't lose your cool. Take a breath, look at your situation, and ask yourself, how might this exact frustration be the precise training you need for your ultimate purpose?